Hey everyone, Thordan Smash here, and I'm a little overdressed because I just got out of a funeral, but today we're going to be talking about something coming to the future of Apex. Now, we know Catalyst is going to be our Season 15 legend, but there's another legend that's coming very shortly after that is going to completely change the meta and actually comes from the Titanfall franchise, which Apex Legends seems to be leaning more into with Respawn developing it. We're also going to give out 45 bucks. All you gotta do is like, comment, subscribe. You guys know the drill, but without further ado, let's go over this new legend. As many of you know, Apex Legends was developed and created by the studio known as Respawn, who created the wonderful Titanfall franchise, and it does indeed share a universe with this game. And we've seen many tie-ins to it. So that's just the fact that Respawn themselves did say, contrary to what some folks are reporting, Titanfall is the very core of our DNA. Who knows what the future holds? There's also many other nods there, with Ash being a playable character in Apex Legends introduced in Season 11, and being one of the main antagonists in Titanfall 2, and of course, the gentleman who actually runs the entire Apex games, Cuban Blisk, who was the main antagonist and final boss of Titanfall 2. And we know we're getting even more introductions to Titanfall for those that aren't familiar, because we are getting a new game mode called Capture Point, which takes place on a variety of Titanfall 2 maps and Titanfall maps data mined by Kralrindo. But there is one legend that was actually leaked a while ago that has roots deeply in the Titanfall franchise that will be coming to the game, and there's a lot of lore to unpack with him because even Titanfall fans don't even know the full story around this character. And this character's name is going to be Jester. Well, let's actually start with Jester's abilities and what the gameplay for it is right now. And what's important to note is that he is known as the Tricky Trapper. He has a passive rewire where he can turn any grenade into a proximity mine that sticks to surfaces. You can press B to toggle between the modes, and you can actually spawn this ability with frag grenades. And his tactical is called Specter Dropping. You might actually see a similarity with something that we've seen before. And it's where you call in a drop pod with 3 Specters to guard an area. Only one set can be active at a time. Now, when you actually look at this ability, it looks very similar to something we've seen before, and that is for Blisk, and when we got his leak from Bias 12 back in Season 8. It has something that guards an area with a fire rate. We don't see the gameplay of the Specters yet, but we know that the Specters are actually coming to the game as NPCs, as Shrugtal found code for Season 13 with a point of interest that will actually have a lot of involvement regarding them. So they are actually coming to the game, and this leak actually confirmed it a little bit before we actually found data mined files. But since Blisk is actually not in the roster of leaked legends, it looks like his ultimate actually got turned into Jester's tactical moving forward. Who knows when we'll actually end up seeing Blisk, as he was left off of this data mined list, and he is considered right now offline, so he doesn't seem to be coming in the immediate future. Now, Jester's ultimate is called Cloak Field, which creates a short-lived cloaking device that hides all players in a small area. It's like Mirage's ultimate, except it also can impact people on his team, and it doesn't send out decoys. The cloak lasts for 6 seconds after leaving the cloak field, so it looks like Mirage is going to have some competition in the coming seasons. Now, let's actually talk about where Jester came from. Actually have a ton of established lore. You see, Jester was a fully created character for the Titanfall 2 game, but he was actually cut before the game released. However, there were still classes that used him as a model. He even had a form of that cloak field that you could use in the multiplayer. And when I say this guy was cut right before the game, he was cut right before, because there are actually action figures you can already get of this character from Titanfall 2. And his backstory was that he was a bounty hunter for the IMC. He did die. We aren't sure of what actually was the cause of that. And he is a simulacrum similar to Revenant and Ash. However, there is something very important to note, is that he was actually an experimental form of one, because he's not actually the decorated pilot that died. He's actually an AI that was put into the simulacrum to believe that he was the pilot. It's very confusing. So we have another character that is coming in the future in that mold, which makes sense because Respawn really seems to like to add them every couple of seasons. Overall, Jester is a very unique character, not only in his abilities, but in the fact that out of all the characters that were leaked, and there are 9 of them total, he is the only one with a somewhat established backstory and lore, and that has a unique fit into the Titanfall universe. Let me know down below, how do you feel about Jester coming into the Apex games? How do you feel about more Titanfall content coming into the game? And do you think it'll be a good fit? And until next time, Legends, keep slaying the Outlands, and I'll see you out there.